Good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome into today's daily Bible reading for the last day of November. Today is November the 30th, and we are reading together in Proverbs 13. Thanks so much for taking the time to read along and to consider these short sentence sayings that are found within the Proverbs from the wisdom of Solomon. I hope that they have been beneficial to you as we read through them over the past few days and as we continue to do so over the next few days as we make our way through this section and some other sections that vary in style and content, but I hope that this has been beneficial to you. Reading here in Proverbs 13, let me go and get the text up on the screen for us. Proverbs 13. Again, these are the short sentence sayings. As is our practice, I want to give you my top three after we get through the chapter, and please feel free to leave any of these sayings that stand out to you that you have experience with. I'd love to have that in the comment section so we can discuss those if you would do so. So reading here in Proverbs 13, in verse number 1, Proverbs 13, verse number 1, a wise son responds to his father's discipline, but a mocker doesn't listen to rebuke. From the fruit of his mouth, a person will enjoy good things, but treacherous people have an aptitude for violence. The one who guards his mouth protects his life. The one who opens his lips invites his own ruin. The slacker craves, yet is nothing, but the diligent is fully satisfied. The righteous hate lying, but the wicked bring disgust and shame. Righteousness guards people of integrity, but wickedness determines the sinner. One person pretends to be rich, but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, but has abundant wealth. Riches are a ransom for a person's life, but a poor person hears no threats. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is put out. Arrogance leads to nothing but strife, but wisdom is gained by those who take advice. Wealth obtained by fraud will dwindle, but whoever earns it through labor will multiply it. Hope delayed makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is a tree of life. The one who has contempt for instruction will pay the penalty, but the one who respects a command will be rewarded. A wise person's instruction is a fountain of life, turning people away from the snares of death. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the treacherous never changes. Every sensible person acts knowledgeably, but a fool displays his stupidity. A wicked envoy falls into trouble, but a trustworthy courier brings healing. Poverty and disgrace come to those who ignore discipline, but the one who accepts correction will be honored. Desire fulfilled is sweet to the taste, but to turn from evil is detestable to fools. The one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. Disaster pursues sinners, but good rewards the righteous. A good man leaves an inheritance to his grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. The uncultivated field of the poor yields abundant food, but without justice it is swept away. The one who will not use the rod hates his son, but the one who loves him disciplines him diligently. And finally, verse 25, a righteous person eats until he is satisfied, but the stomach of the wicked is empty. And that is Proverbs 13. All right, for my top three today, I'm going to start with verse number 7. Verse number 7, one person pretends to be rich, but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, but has abundant wealth. This to me is the facade that many people put on it. Think about like social media sites. You have especially things like Instagram, where people are constantly posting pictures of everything good that's in their lives, how everything's perfect. They have the perfect makeup, the perfect clothes, the perfect food, the perfect transportation, the perfect house, just everything's so perfect. So often I think that is just a cover up for a life of unhappiness. And people really don't have everything figured out. They just make it look like they do there on on those social media sites. But that is contrasted with a person who lives below their means. I think of the Dave Ramsey statements, that kind of his philosophy whenever it comes to saving money and the way you live. He says, live below your means now so you can live above your means later. So just because you make X amount of money doesn't mean that you have to live at that particular level of income. Just because let's say you make $100,000 a year. Just because you make $100,000 a year doesn't mean that you have to live like you make $100,000 a year. You could live at a $60,000 or $70,000 a year level, and what you're able to do then is you're able to save money in doing that. You're not just, because you're making it, you're using it. This is just wisdom to, number one, not flaunt what you actually don't have just to look better. And then number two, just because you have doesn't mean you have to flaunt it. There's wisdom in using your money in a healthy, in a conservative way, and not just blowing it because you have it, not just showing it off because you have it. Here we see that, I believe, from this text. One person pretends to be rich and has nothing and looks good, but there is no substance, whereas this other person is not flaunting wisdom, is living below their means now, so they might be able to live above their means later and also use their means to be a blessing to others as well. So that's my number one, verse number 7. My number 2 is verse number 20. Verse number 20, the one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. Who are we surrounding ourselves with? Do we surround ourselves with people who are wise and who will be blessings to us? Or do we surround ourselves with people who are going to bring us down to their level? Again, 1 Corinthians 15:33 really comes to my mind here, that evil company corrupts good morals or good habits. Here, if you're surrounding yourselves with fools, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are up to no good, who don't know any better, then don't be surprised whenever that you fall into the same trap that they have found themselves in. Who we surround ourselves with is really important. And that's why I kind of stressed a lot on Sunday, spending a lot of time with Christians, spending time with those of our church family, those who should have a good positive influence on us. That is a good usage of our time. So that's my number 2, verse number 20. And then finally, my number 3 is verse 24. The one who will not use the rod hates his son, but the one who loves him disciplines him diligently. Man, just looking around in the world today, you can probably quickly pick out those people who were never disciplined as children. They were never held accountable for their actions. There was no sort of responsibility that they lived with, and everything that happened to them was either someone else's fault, or anything good they experienced was always of their own doing. There was never someone there to help them live in reality. And eventually, unfortunately, for those type of people, reality is going to bite them in the rear end, and it's not going to be too good for them. So for those of us who are parents, for those of us who have influence, it is good for us to make sure that we are disciplining our children, that we're keeping them as best we can on the straight and narrow, that we are teaching them something about accountability, that life does not revolve around them. The world does not revolve around them, and they will make mistakes. When they make mistakes, let's highlight those mistakes. Let's correct those mistakes. Let's use them as teachable moments. And then on the other end, I want to add on, I guess, another tidbit of wisdom. Whenever they do something good, really praise them. I know for me, I'm definitely there with my girls, staying on them, making sure that they're doing the right thing. And I have to make a concerted effort to make sure to praise them, though, because this, even though this is wise, this good wisdom, it can be overdone, can it? Because we can discipline to the point that we break the spirit of a child, and we don't want that. We can discipline to the point that we cause them to become rebellious. We don't want that as well. We want to be balanced. We want to discipline, yes, whenever it's necessary, but it's also good for us to praise and speak well to our children whenever they're doing something that is good, whenever we can see them learning from their previous mistakes. So that's my number 1, 2, and 3 for today. Number 1, again, one person pretends to be rich but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor but has abundant wealth. Number 2, the one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. And then number 3, the one who will not use the rod hates his son, but the one who loves him disciplines him diligently. Those are three good tidbits of wisdom, I believe, from here in Proverbs chapter 13. Again, if you have anything that stands out to you from this text, please feel free to share that in the comment section here on YouTube or Facebook. Again, thanks so much for tuning in today. We're looking forward to seeing everyone tonight as we gather together for our Bible studies at 7 p.m. Should be a great day, and hope that everybody will be blessed as you go throughout this day, and looking forward to seeing everyone tonight. Take care.